welcome to another episode of Walking Movies. I am Nick, and we're on our way to the cinema. As you know, what you expect from this podcast. I mean, if I'm not going to cinema, what are you watching this for? Huh? Really? But here I am, and today I'm off to see a new film. It's just come out, and it's called boykillsworld. Now, I only found out about this film a month or two ago. It's quite a new film for me. It stars Bill Skarsgård, Charlton Copley, you know, that guy that I said about a month ago you never see him in films anymore. He's in his second film this year. And also the voice of H. John Benjamin, who you might recognise if you ever watched Bob's Burgers or Archer, where he plays the main characters in both of those shows. So you recognise his voice if you're familiar with his work. The film, from what I can tell, is about Bill Skarsgård's character, who, due to an incident that happened when he was a child, has left him mute and I believe deaf. And the way that we are communicating with the characters in the film is via his inner thoughts, his inner voice, which is voiced by H. John Benjamin. And it looks to be like a mix of shoot 'em up, John Wick, Crank, you know, those kind of films. So yeah, that's what this film looks like to me. And it just looked like it'd be a good fun film. So I've been looking forward to it coming out, and here I am reviewing it. Unfortunately, like, the month of April's not been good to me. I started with flu, and I've ended it with a gastro bug which went through the entire household and stopped me seeing this film when I was originally planning to, because of obviously being ill and being sick and not wanting to give it to other people. So I've had to wait until the bug has gone and that I'm not contagious to be able to come and see this film. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this film. The trailer made it look really fun. I don't think it's doing particularly well, but I mean, one, it's an 18, which means it gets more limited screenings anyway. But I mean, even in my cinema, which is a big multiplex, they're showing it on one screen. They're showing it twice a day. It's nothing for a new release. So yeah, but I've not read any reviews, so I don't know how it's being reviewed, but it looks fun. I'm looking forward to it. But what do I think about the film? I'll let you know after this. Well, I've now seen boykillsworld, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy the whole film, and that's a shame, because I think the first 2/3 were excellent. I really had a good fun time, but for me, the last third I just wasn't a massive fan of. And it'll be interesting, because the thing is, when I record a review, which is really just my opinion, it's not really good, but when I do this, I haven't listened to anyone else's review or thoughts on the film. I've not read anything about it either. So I'm really interested as to what other people think, and whether or not, you know, they have similar feelings to me, or whether they enjoyed the whole thing. But yeah, the performances are great. Bill Skarsgård, who, you know, has obviously had some really great kind of acting roles. Like, you know, his Pennywise was incredible. He was great in Barbarian, and he's really good in this. The film is really funny. I mean, if you don't like over-the-top violence and gore, probably not going to be for you anyway. But it really worked for me. I thought it was really good in that regard. I just felt the story like just lost momentum, and I thought it was quite well paced, but again, the last third of the film just felt like it wasn't stopping. I wasn't showing any signs of stopping, and the direction they went with the story, I just wasn't keen on. It's a real shame because it's going to bring down my overall score. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. What was interesting, now for American viewers, we don't normally kind of clap at the end of films or have like a real reaction to films. That seems to be something I've only experienced when I've been in American cinemas. But you normally hear a bit of a buzz at the end of the film, if nothing else. And when the credits started rolling, it was silent, as if we all didn't really know what to make of it. And yet, throughout the film, there was lots of audience laughter, and you know, there was a lot of reaction during the film. But at the end of the film, there was nothing. It was flat. So I don't think it is just me that felt that way, but it'll be interesting to hear other people's views on it. So I still recommend it. I'm going to watch it again. You know, my wife wanted to watch it. We will watch it together when it comes out for home release. And, you know, if you're a fan of, I mean, I said it reminded me of, like, you know, a John Wick kind of crank shoot 'em up type of thing. It's not really like John Wick. I mean, it's John Wick in terms of body count, but it was, I thought, fairly similar to, it reminded me of Crank at times. It reminded me of Shoot 'em Up. It reminded me actually of Argyle at times, in terms of the way things were shot. It's a first-time director, and I think, you know, some of the filming, the way that the film's been, you know, set out and shot, is actually really impressive. The fight sequences are stunning. I just think the story ended up letting it down, and that's a shame. But, you know, it seems to be a common thread this year of films that just don't nail the landing. You know, I mentioned Argyle. Argyle's another one. Didn't really land the ending for me. I still enjoyed it though, and I still recommend it. And it's the same with this. You know, you're unlikely to see another film like it this year, and I think, you know, it's an independent film. It's not getting a really wide release, and I feel that it, you know, despite how I feel about the last third, it deserves to be seen. Should you go and see this at the cinema? If you like films that I've mentioned, then yeah. You know, it's been a long time since we got another film that's like Crank, in terms of its kind of like over the topness and, you know, mixing the violence with the comedy as well as it did. And I'd be interested to see what the director does next. But it just didn't completely work for me. So it's a 7. It's a film that I recommend you catch. Should you see it at the cinema, as I said, if you like those films, yes. And also, support little films, man. Support those independent films, because it deserves it. And there's enough to enjoy in the film as a whole to make it worthwhile. And that's the key thing, I think. So yeah, that's my thoughts on boykillsworld. I enjoyed it a lot. I just didn't love it. So there you go. I think the next film I'll be going to review is The Fall Guy. It's only the next big film that's coming out later this week. So hopefully, as long as nothing drastic happens, like get hit by a bus like Darby Allin did, he didn't die by the way, then I should be back with that review soon. But until then, as always, remember that Flynn lives.